Posner here, and I want to talk to you today about a topic that has been popping up quite a bit lately, and that is working with agencies. So I've had two really positive experiences over the years working with two different kinds of agencies, a web development agency and a marketing agency. And let's talk about, the advantages and disadvantages of either or both. And first, let me myth bust for a second and tell you that you don't have to be in-house to work with an agency at all. Unless you're looking to just really get a lot of experience under somebody else's auspices and not necessarily the kind of experience that you want, it can be a really good thing to go in-house. I've seen people do it and they get a lot of confidence and they come out and they start their businesses. I've seen some people do some amazing things. If you do it, I would hope ideally you would plan, you kind of have in your mind an exit strategy so you can get back to building your own business, because I think ultimately that's more lucrative and more satisfying, but that's my personal opinion. When you work with an agency, there's a number of ways that it can be done. And the thing to consider that's great is you don't have to prospect, right? You don't have to find clients. You don't have to reach out to them. You don't have to run sales and discovery calls and then do some follow-up scoping things out. You don't have to close the deal. Basically, the agency closes the deal and they bring it to you, and they can bring it to you in lots of different ways. I've seen some agencies that I didn't stay working with because I didn't like the way that they did things. But let me explain. So with the marketing agency, they had clients they were writing copy for. So they're helping them refine their message, and then they're looking for somebody to express that in copy. It can also be that they're working with their clients who are building websites and are particularly looking for website copy. Now, what this marketing agency specialized in was marketing funnels. And so as part of those marketing funnels, I wrote a lot of white papers or special reports, and I wrote a lot of landing pages. It was interesting because, a lot of agencies want you to work by the hour. That's pretty typical. That's how they pay, right? That's how they pay internally. So it makes sense to them. And I wasn't willing to do that. I'm never willing to work on an hourly basis. So what we did is we came up with the commonalities in various projects and the types of projects they would have me do. And we came up with a price range. So we knew for a landing page, there could be short form, medium form, long form, and those had like a little price range for each one. So what they knew is they could go and scope their client, knowing that I wouldn't come in beyond the highest range of that particular piece that I had priced. Now, the great thing about this was this agency created the most amazing briefs. I mean, they did research. They did a lot of the heavy lifting for me. So literally all I had to do was write. And that was really easy for me. I mean, I don't know. I find the writing part of copywriting is the easier part, doing the analysis, figuring out the messaging, understanding the audience it's all much more in depth. Once you know all that, the writing comes pretty easily. So I really enjoyed that because I found the writing came easily. And then they had me do increasingly complex things, but the foundation was always those landing pages. And I knew they used to send me maybe one or two a week. And so I could count on that income. It wasn't regular, it wasn't a guarantee, but they came through pretty steadily. And it was just a really nice supplement because it would come in, it was easy for me to do. And it was different, right? Because there wasn't so much attached to each thing because I didn't have to go through so much to get it. The other agency that I worked with was a web development agency, a fairly high-end one. They're not in business anymore. The owners moved on to different work. But what they did was they were selling websites. They were developing these websites. And they got to a point where they were feeling like they were doing such great work and such high-end work. And these people had great sites, but if the messaging wasn't good, how great was the site? Who cared, kind of. So they were looking for a copywriter. They were looking for somebody they could bring in to write web copy. And in this instance, they wanted somebody who would talk with the client. With the other company, I never had anything to do with their clients. They sent me a brief. I had a project manager at the agency. I sent things back to them. That was my sole point of contact. In the web development agency, I had an email address with their company name. I talked directly to their clients. I kind of managed my own project under their auspices. And so what that meant, though, was I was scoping them each time. Because they would come to me and they'd say, okay, here's what we've got. It's, this kind of company. This is what they need. We would talk about it. We'd look at it. They were creating the web pages, so they knew exactly, which pages they had recommended and now needed to be created. And so I would scope each one individually. What was cool about that for me is I was able to charge them what I consider my retail prices. The other agency got my wholesale prices because remember, I was saying I didn't have to do all that extra work. So Their budget was not super high, but I'm fast. And so I could make it work for me inside of my own parameters. With the web development agency, I would scope them and they would then mark it up for their clientele. They had a high, I don't know, it's a high level enough or, well paying enough, I guess, customers that their customers didn't bat an eye. And I was able to get, the same price I'd get if I was scoping, somebody who came to me out of the blue. So what was great about that was they had the client. So either they were going to close the client with my copy as part of the deal, or they weren't. But many times they did, and I got some really great projects from them because they had some great clients. They just had really good people they were working with, and so those would turn into major projects for me. Those could be $8, $9, $10, $12,000 projects, but they brought them to me regularly, and I really liked working with them. It was a little bit different because they had certain systems, and I had to work inside their systems, and I had to learn them. It was really worth it because there was a nice steady flow. I mean, I don't think I got a project from them every month, but I could look back and see how many I got from them over a course of a year or two, and it was pretty consistent income, and it was really nice. Those are two things I've done anyway, where you could consider, there's so many agencies out there and they do so many different things for so many different types of clients that you could consider seeing who, where's their crossover? Who is serving an audience that you would like to serve or that you're experienced in or have some talent or skill in, and see about partnering with those people. It can be a great way, it can be a great way to get clients, and it can be really, a great thing for them, a great additional thing that they can add. And it's bound to enhance their work, because if they hire a copywriter instead of, whoever is going to write it, they're going to get better results, because we know that the messaging really matters. I mean, yes, the design matters too, but good design with bad messaging probably works less well than bad design with good messaging, although that's not a great thing either. But I think you can talk to agencies, find out, do they use outside contractors? Do they ever need a pair of fresh eyes or some new ideas? Sometimes in really busy times, they'll bring someone on. I've worked with other agencies just, piecemeal, where they had a heavy season. Or I actually wrote for one client who they'd had copywriters on staff for years, and they've been selling the same products for years, and they wanted fresh eyes. They didn't know, could they increase their campaigns with new copy, but there weren't really many new angles left with the copywriters who had been, working with this material for so long. So anyway, I hope that helps you to expand your thinking. And speaking of clients, my Get Better Clients course is just about ready. So keep an eye out for that. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. If you'd like to be notified when these videos drop, click the bell.